Canyon Mountains to all the Mesilla Valley, reaching all of New Mexico. Broadcasting live from the Las Cruces studios, bringing you the issues that matter and the topics that count. Telling it like it is, it's the Mike Tellez Show. And now here's your host, Mike Tellez.
Thank you for joining us today. Before we start this program, we've got a warning to the parents. You must watch this program. There could be great risk to your kids out there that you really don't see and that you do not know that's going on. I urge you, watch this program today. My name is Mike Tellez. We're coming from the beautiful downtown Las Cruces Channel Studios. Today we're continuing on our homeless crisis that we've been talking about for the last several weeks. We've interviewed a few different people. Last week we had a gentleman off the streets that we interviewed. And, you know, I've interviewed a great amount of homeless people in the last 3-4 weeks. And they don't come on because they are so scared of being recognized, noticed. That one thing I'm finding about the streets, that it's the blues. That's what has a great amount of these people on the streets right now. It's called the blues. And the blues, I'm going to tell you, that is taken over. That's taken over. Blues, blues are synthetic. They're laced with fentanyl. It's bad news. These blues right here, they smoke them. They don't take them. They don't ingest them. They don't do it that way. They smoke them, they inject them, but that is the killer right now. It's a pain pill, synthetic opioid. And they're being mass produced, and they're out of Mexico. They originate in China. So they sent them to China. There's organizations in China, the cartels or whoever does it. They're mass producing these pills in different locations. And it's not factories, it's not areas that are set up to manufacture medications. They are raw, primitive areas where they get the ingredients from China, and they're making these blues and they're stamping them. And, Xanax, that could be what they will sell them under the name of Xanax. They're even selling those under the name of oxycodone. That's pain pills. They're selling them under Vicodin. They're stamping them with the Vicodin numbers on them. They can make it look exactly like prescription medication. It's just absolutely incredible what these pills are doing. Of the people I've talked to, 98%, that is what their bad is. That's what they're hooked on. 98% are hooked on those, and they are hooked on those so bad, they don't want anything else in life but to get another high, and that's it. That's their life. Like we talked to a gentleman last week, they don't want to get rescued. They just want to be left alone. They want to hustle enough money to keep that high going. One pill, one puff could grab you and hold on to you, and you're addicted. These blues right here, it's changed the way drug use is. Heroin used to be the big deal, and, heroin still is. There is a problem with heroin, but blues is rapidly taking over heroin. Imagine this. We've got heroin, or we got blues. On the picture you're seeing on the screen, I want you to look at that is a lethal dose of heroin, and that's a lethal dose of fentanyl. That's what these blues are made out of. Fentanyl is what's killing. Fentanyl has been around for a long time, but now fentanyl is the drug of choice. That's what comes in from Mexico. They're laced with fentanyl, and that is what's taking over right now. Now, if you were somebody smuggling drugs, moving drugs, which one would make more sense to smuggle? Look at the difference in the strength. Look at the difference in the two. You know, what they bring across, fentanyl is 100 times more potent than heroin. Now, there's an analog fentanyl coming out right now that is 100 times more potent than fentanyl. I mean, where does it stop? Where does it stop? I'm telling you. And the sad reality of it, these are drugs that have been around. You know, they used to have fentanyl patches. I remember they'd get the patches, you put them on your back or wherever you had pain, and there was a time-release pain going in there. Time-release pain pill going into your system, pain relief, and it was time-released. Now they get those patches. So if you got any of those patches laying around, I would get those things and either lock them up or get rid of them, because now they get the gel from the patches, they squeeze it out and they turn it into an injectable substance. And, you know, right now, I'm talking to the people I've talked to, they will do anything for that high. Now, the problem with fentanyl is you can get one, and the first time you are going to get blasted out of your mind, it's going to last you quite a while. Well, as you take it, the amount needed to reach that point of euphoria increases and increases and increases. There's a lot of information out there on it, on what it looks like, the shape, the size, the color, but that is the high. Now, this is what I'm seeing out in the streets. I'm seeing kids out there. Young people are in those streets on those blues. One of these guys told me, well, you know what, there's kids out there too, and I didn't believe him. I started walking around, and I started looking, and I'm going to tell you, they're out there. You know, they're out there, and you know, I've heard this over and over and over. All it takes is one, and those things grab you and take you farther than you want to go, cost you more than you want to pay, and last longer than you want it to last. They will get a hold of you, and you know, they won't let go. They're talking about professionals going and buying these blues off the streets. Our homeless population has got a large amount of them have a drug problem, and they don't want help. There are some homeless people out there, and I'm going to tell you something. There are some out there that I wish we could find a way to house them. There's people out there that genuinely have a mental health issue. They've got a problem. They've got something put them there. But I'm going to tell you, if we're thinking that these are people that have been forced out of their job and forced to go live in the streets because they were laid off, you know what? We have got the hottest job market in history going on right now, and I'll tell you, this problem is getting worse and worse. And you know what? The longer we wait, the worse it's going to get. I was in Albuquerque last weekend. I went to a wedding. I was out at about 10 o'clock. I tried to go to a convenience store, and I said, I'm going to go to a convenience store. You know, I had my daughter with me, and, you know, I wanted to go someplace that was safe, that I felt safe. There was not one convenience store in the Heights that did not have people all around outside. I couldn't believe it. There were people everywhere at all those convenience stores. I finally found one. I went to the truck stop convenience store in Manal, and you know, there was an armed guy out there. He looked like a Green Beret, man. I mean, this guy was strapped and loaded, and he looked tough. So I pulled in right there. Well, the Circle K right next door had just closed. While my daughter was in the convenience store, I waited right outside the front to make sure everything was good. Some people knocked out the window of the Circle K, went inside, took what they needed, and left. Right there. On Manal Street. I could, you know, it's amazing. Well, you know, it shouldn't be too amazing to us in Las Cruces. You drive down some of these streets, the windows are knocked out. There are several businesses on the El Paseo area that have had their windows knocked out and people go in and loot them. We talked about on one of our programs about a sports store that sold sporting goods that had been broke into 3 times. Broke a window, go in. 3 times. We talked about that. You know, you go out there, these people are in front of convenience stores, they're in front of areas where you'd go in to shop. You know, you're scared to leave your car, you lock the doors, but you know what? They'll break that window and take what they want. Now, I'm told by these people I'm interviewing, you know, some of them even admitted, yeah, I do whatever I need to do to survive on the streets. And they just openly admitted, I'll get an order, I'll go to Walmart. I'll get an order, I'll go look through cars. I will go do whatever I need to do to take care of what I need. They'll do anything. You know who they rob first? You know who they clean out first? Their families. That's who they rob first. I saw an amazing amount of people from Las Cruces, and you know, my whole deal is to try to get them off the streets. They don't want to get off the streets. They have got an addiction that has taken them over. It's possessed them. We talked to Teen Challenge about bringing their program here and getting a mental health and a substance abuse facility. We've brought in 2 different programs that have homes to take care of people that are homeless and need help. You know, they told me this. They're on the streets every day. One of them is on the streets every single day. They're in their van looking for people that need help. They told me they have not yet found a homeless person that wants to get up and needs help. They don't want to go eat. They don't want clothes. They just want to be left alone. Give me a little money and I'll be fine. Just like the gentleman said last week, we could eat at the Mission. We could eat at Casa Pellegrino's. We could eat at the soup kitchen. We're not hungry. We're not starving to death. We're not out here because we have nowhere else on earth we could go. We're out here because this is where we want to be right now. You know what I challenge you to do? I challenge you to go to Tent City tonight at about 10 o'clock. Park your car and get out and see if you can walk around. Go to Circle K on Picacho at about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. You know what? To the Circle K's, to their credit, they have started getting tough on people hanging out there. But go out there. You know what? Somebody's going to go to your window and ask you for money. There is nothing more fearful than someone coming up to your car at night. Now imagine if your wife and kids, your daughter, your son, somebody is in that lane when they go up. You don't know what they're going to say or what they're going to do. We had 2 weeks back somebody who SUV pulled up right behind his car. They went out there, pulled a gun on him, and told me, give me all your money and all your stuff, and shot him in the leg. Right there in Las Alturas area. That's a good area. But they robbed him right there. They'll stop at nothing. They will stop at nothing right now to get what they need. We've got a problem with blues out there. We better wake up. I'm going to tell you, we could put a large mental health facility that would hold 1 million beds, whatever we need. We could get the substance abuse, we could get all of that. It doesn't matter. While there's a plentiful amount of blues on the street. When I come back, we're going to talk about blues. My name is Mike Tellez.
Hi folks, I'm Dave Gallus. This is your 3A Research Minute. We're here with CEO Michael Raucci of 3A Research here in Las Cruces. Michael, could you tell me the procedure of a trial?
Sure, Dave. A participant will come to our office to see if they qualify for a study. Once they qualify for a study, they will be asked to do evaluations throughout the course of a 3-month period or longer, and they'll come in periodically to see their progress and make sure they're safe and they're okay.
Michael, could you tell us the location here in Las Cruces? Where's that?
We are located in the heart of Las Cruces, 530 North Telshore Boulevard, Suite B. We have 2 locations in El Paso, and we've done so well, we had to extend ourselves here to this great community. So far, Las Cruces has been very responsive, and we love Las Cruces, so excited to be here.
Thanks, Michael. I hope the folks take advantage of this opportunity. That's been your 3A Research Minute here in Las Cruces. See you next time.
If your loved one has passed away due to COVID-19, pay close attention to this message. You could be entitled to a death benefit of over $300,000. The U.S. government has set up a fund to pay families relief if they've lost a loved one due to COVID-19. The compensation includes a death benefit and lost wages benefit. Time is limited, so we urge you to make a free phone call right now. There's no cost to you for this claim. That's 866-372-3669.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
Do you suffer from rashes, dryness, flakiness, and thickness to the skin? 3A Research is conducting a trial of an investigational drug on plaque psoriasis. Subjects must be 18 years of age or older. This is an 8-week study. We will compensate you for your time and travel up to $225.
Enrolling participants now in Las Cruces. Contact our office at 575-288-1646 or visit our Facebook page at 3A Research or our website 3asites.com.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Welcome back to the Mike Tellez Show. My name is Mike Tellez. We're talking about the blues. I'll tell you, parents, one of the things you could do, well, you probably ask, was one of my sons, relatives, are they on blues? How do I know? How do I know they're doing them? I'm going to tell you, one of the telling signs is you're going to start finding little squares of foil paper that are burned in the middle. They're smoking something. They could be smoking the blues. They could be smoking heroin. That's generally the way they smoke the blues, on foil. They snort them. They'll crush them up and snort them. They'll inject them. They'll, smoke them, inject them. And remember, that is up to 100 times more potent than heroin. You have got to start looking through your kids' rooms. I know how we want them to have their own rights and their own space in their own world, but I'm going to tell you something. It is taking them out every single day of the week. It's taking them out. It's grabbing them. It's getting them addicted. You start finding stuff missing around the house, I'm going to tell you what, it's time to put a red flag up. Go take a look at the car. You start look in their car. Look and see what it looks like. Look under the seats. One thing I've seen about drug users, and I'm going to tell you, unfortunately, I've had some in my family. But one of the things they do is they don't destroy the evidence for some unbelievable reason. They'll leave it somewhere in plain sight. And we have got to start picking up those clues. You have got to start paying attention to who your kids are hanging out with. They're not too young for them. I did an internship at a middle school heroin was already in that middle school. We need to wake up. These drugs are taking over the people. They're taking over your kids. They got them. I was out there. They don't want help. They want money. And you know what? We are feeding them that money every time we see them out there. We feel bad. We'll throw money in their hat. I've been guilty of doing the same thing. I saw a young man, crazy looking, jeans, no shirt, shaved head, walking right in the center of Avenida Mesilla, straight across Valley Drive. Crazy looking. Crazy looking. And I'm going to tell you something. Go drive down Valley. Drive down Amador. Go to Amador tonight. Go look around there. Go drive down those streets and tell me, would you walk there? Tell me better yet, would you open a business there? There's no business. They're slowly running them all out. You know, this is the part I think needs to be addressed by, the city council. They need to wake the hell up and get out there and see what's going on in their districts. Whoever these districts belong to, they need to get out in those districts and start walking around at night and go see what's going on. Take a look at what the business owners are going through with those squatters all over their property. You know what? There's nothing you can do. Well, there is something we can do. You try to let your weeds overgrow in your front yard and see how quick you get cited. You try to have too many garage sales and watch how fast you get cited. You know what? You go out you go on them streets and you start seeing what you all need to do to get our streets cleaned up, to get those businesses some relief for the people that are tearing them up. You see their trash all over the place. Well, you know what? What happened to grocery stores being responsible and keeping their shopping carts inside? They're everywhere. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Drive on our side of the old Las Cruces, not on the other side. Don't bother going to the Sonoma area. It's going to look beautiful and perfect. Come over here to Old Town Las Cruces, to the part that Las Cruces was built on. Come to our part of the city here and take a look how trashed out and ugly it's starting to look. You know what? We don't want to look like Albuquerque and we're on our way. I don't care what it takes. We need to do something about it because we can't have our city continue to fall down and say, well, there's nothing we can do. You know what? We better find something to do. I refuse to accept the fact that all of this going on, it used to be restricted to Picacho. I'll leave them alone. They're on Picacho. We know where they're at. Now they got 2 or 3 more subdivisions where they're all at. Let's get out there and find out what we need to do to stop the blues. We could have facilities everywhere to help them. They don't want to go. Get those damn blues off the streets. Find out why these people, find out who they are so deathly scared of in the streets. Who in that underworld has the power to threaten someone and scare them so bad they will not call the police? Rape. I hear after rape. People get raped, beat up, threatened. And you know what? I say, why don't you call the police? They would rather just let it go than to call the police. They say, well, you heard it last week. They'll give the green light. They'll take us out. They'll kill us for being a rat. You can't call the police because they are more fearful of whoever's in charge under there than they are of the police department. You see how brazen they act towards the police department? Let me tell you something. They have the fear of God of whoever it is in these streets that are running it. That's who they're scared of. They're not scared of the courts. They're not scared of going to jail. You get high in jail too. This guy told me he goes to jail, gets high in jail just like he gets high in the streets. Only difference is he gets 3 guaranteed meals in jail. But you get high anywhere. We need to tighten it up. I used to say, what are we going to do? Hire another 1,000 police and build a 3-story jail? No. What we need to do is find the source. We need to find the head of that and take that out. It's destroying our city. I would hate to have a business around Amador and Valley area. I would hate to be a business owner there. And businesses, they do have the right to restrict people from loitering on their property. People used to cruise up and down Main Street, El Paseo. Then what happened? They started outlawing us hanging out on the sides of the street, parked, where cars were going up and down. They banned that. They banned cruising around in all Main Street America. They banned the cruising. They banned us parking our cars and hanging out on the side of the street. They banned that. Well, you know what? When are they going to ban these people like they banned us? If we can't park cars and cruise around the street, cruise around up and down El Paseo and park there, why are we allowing these people to get out there and hang out there in the very places we're not allowed to park in? They are allowed to squat in, tear up the buildings, break out the windows. Something needs to be done. We got these people standing in the middle of the street with signs. Get them off of the street. Get them off the sides of the street. Let's find a place. If you all insist that they should be able to beg, let's get a bus or a van and send them up to your neighborhood and let them go to your neighborhood and you all take care of them. But you know what? We need to get them off our streets. All the pedestrians getting run over, my goodness, I wonder who they are. It's time to do something. You can build a bike path, but I'm going to tell you something. That ain't going to do it. A dog park, that ain't going to do it. You can go pay the poor people that need money. You can pay them $1,000 or $2,000 a month to help the poor people try to get out of the problems. You don't want, let's make the city safe first. Let's make Las Cruces a safe city, not on its way to being another Albuquerque. We're the most violent state in the nation right now. How isn't that amazing? We're at last in everything, and now we're getting up there. We're down number one in something else. Violence. You know, the overdose. We have a guy make national news because he was buzzed. He was kicking a head around, broad daylight. He's kicking a head that he cut off of someone. Did you know that they tried to get that guy to be released on bail? He had already been released for a similar crime. You know what? We could blame the police. We could blame the judges. I'm going to tell you what, that's not it. The police will get them. They'll be released. They took away the bond deal. No bond now. Well, you know what? It's time to start thinking and calling up some of these people who promise you the world when they run for office. Start getting on that phone. Call your representatives. Call your city council members. You start calling the people who have promised you the world on election day. Let's get them on the hot seat and get our city safe again. It is terrible out there, and it's time to do something about it. I want to tell you all something. We can't give up on this city. I love this city. We cannot give up on our Las Cruces on this side of the freeway. It's our city. And I thank you for joining me on the Mike Tellez Show. My name is Mike Tellez.